Good evening and welcome to the Vigilante Dialogues. I am your host, Shaina Smith, welcoming you to the National Boardroom. The objective of our program, as always, is to speak about the quality of life and issues that affect us, and more importantly, to speak about the solutions, because it's more important to speak about the change than just to complain. The last time we were here in the boardroom, we had persons with us from Gender Affairs and the Partnership for Peace program. And I would like to thank Ms. Laura Lee Connor and Mr. Marcus Holly for being here and sharing with us the important topic of domestic violence. The Vigilante Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associates, National Bank of the Virgin Islands, and Therapy Work BVI. And we would like to thank them for their generous support. Tonight's topic, we'll be talking about sport tourism. And I have one of our avid athletes here in our community with us. And we'll get right into our conversation, and I'll ask him to introduce himself.
Good evening, folks. My name is Karl Scatliffe, Karl Dub Scatliffe. Everybody knows me as. I'm also a talk show host for sports, and I'm here with you this evening. We're talking sports tourism, one of my favorite topics.
One of your favorite topics. Well, I'm looking forward to this because I was on the internet looking for some background information, and my interest was very much piqued when they started talking about the billion-dollar industry that this is. And you know, I'm already seeing the opportunity and potential for us here in the BVI. So, just give us a little bit about, in terms of sports in the BVI, what's going on?
Well, where we're located geographically, we're one of the perfect places for sports tourism because we're easy to get to. Even though we're a British territory, certain places don't need a lot of visa restrictions to come to us. So geographically, we're good, and we have the facilities. Even though, I mean, the good thing about it is, you know, even though we're small, we have a lot of facilities where, you know, people can make use of, and they're just sitting there. I mean, we spend a lot of money on them. I don't think that they're marketed to the value that they're supposed to, and that's, you know, that's the reason why you don't see any revenue or anybody looking at the sports tourism as a revenue maker in the island.
Okay. So in terms of sport tourism, what is that? So everybody kind of understands what it is. Because we know sport, we know tourism, but exactly how do they come together?
Sports tourism basically is sporting events where countries or teams participate in other countries, and they have a fan base that follows them around where, you know, for example, basketball, cricket, track and field. Those bring a lot of people with them, and it depends on where you take it, people follow. For example, in Europe is big when it comes to track and field. I mean, the dollars are big. People follow just to see these mega superstars run. And cricket, again, throughout the Caribbean and throughout places like India. I mean, again, you see people go as far as India just to watch, you know, sports tourism. So it's basically the sport and the fan base that's followed the sport is what basically comes together and make it sports tourism. Everything is being utilized, from your hotels to your car rentals, you know, your supermarkets. Everybody gets a piece of the pie when it comes to sports tourism.
Okay, so we're basically talking about some major economic development.
Very, very major.
Just from people travel. So this is a different type of traveler, as it were.
Yes,
so we talk about cruise ship tourists, we talk about the overnight stays, and now we're talking about persons that travel possibly for a weekend event.
Just to watch a team. Just to watch a country, or support the country, support the athlete, or support their teams.
Okay. And this is something that's probably been in existence in the Caribbean for quite a while.
I mean, yes, it is, in soccer and cricket and those, and track and field, you know, it's been big now, but there are a lot of other sports that's popping up right now, and it's been generating a lot of fan base. We're located right here, known as a sailing capital. We do very good when it comes to the yachting industry. So that alone speaks for itself when it comes to sport. We have not the Rolex Cup, but we have the airlines. That was just here the other day.
The Interline Regatta.
Right. We have the boat show that's going on right now. So it draws a lot of people to our shows. And like you said, whether it's for a weekend or a week or a 2-day, 3-day event, you know, that's basically what it is.
Okay. So even things like the poker run, that would be sports tourism.
Of course.
Because then we're seeing persons coming from as far as Florida.
Yes.
I believe was participating in the event this year.
Yes, we had through the Caribbean, Florida, Puerto Rico, of course.
Okay. All right, great. So what is your interest in sports tourism? What is it you would like to see us here in the BVI doing?
My interest in sports tourism really is to utilize the facilities that we have. We spent a lot of money on our facilities, and they're just sitting there. Multi-million sporting complex, or track and field stadium. It still needs some work, but I want to see those things being used to the full potential. For the first time when we opened our track and field, we had had the CUT games, which is a youth games, teachers' youth games. That alone showed the potential of sports tourism, because we had some 23 countries, almost 30 kids per team, and the parents and the fans followed that till, I mean, almost all our hotels were booked out.
Okay.
So that showed potential in from the first instance, and I think the powers that may be never really saw it fit to say, well, you know, wow, this is something new, you know, let's venture more into this, let's see what we can do. And for example, again, the CBC is something totally different, though. It's basketball, but it brings more teams and not more fans.
Okay.
When you're talking fans, you're talking like the track and field, you're talking like the NCAA, you know, the yachting, those type, like the poker run. They bring people and they bring the fans with them. So it's a different in certain sports. Tennis also brings people, but some bring more teams instead of fans, and we basically want the teams and the fans to follow. Okay. One of the biggest right now is NCAA basketball.
Okay.
I can give you some statistics on that.
Let's hear them, because you know, college, everybody sits on when it's college basketball season, everybody is glued to the TV.
Yes, I'll just share, I brought some information real quick. I'll just try to share that with you. The NCAA is the largest affiliation in the United States of America, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, pronounced as NCAA. It's a nonprofit organization of 1,281 institutions, conferences, organizations, and individuals that organizes the athletic program of many colleges and universities in the United States and Canada. Now, the NCAA has connection with several people in many industries, such as professional athletes, movie stars, even the President Obama, who attended Columbia University, which is an NCAA institution. Now, hosting tournaments like the NCAA Division I schools, like was organized by a BVI Tropical Shootout. You know, yearly we'll build connection with very large institutions that can open several windows for the British Virgin Islands. Okay. That's just, you know, one area of sports. And I mean, something as big as, and I could give you another statistics from Bahamas. They started it 3 years ago. Okay. And 3 years ago they were able to make $12.3 million in their economy. That's pumping into the economy. And they're talking about, in the year 2014, $100 million.
That's their goal.
That is. Yeah. I mean, that is projection. That's you know, what they got. And basically, like I said, everybody gets involved, from the hoteliers, you know, to the tourism boards. You know, everybody gets involved, because the hotels now will give discounts on their rooms. You know, try to attract more people. Yes, the airlines, you'll give you discounts for group rates. So the taxis, you know, they make theirs. The grocery shops, they make theirs. That mean, you know, event places make theirs. So basically, that's where the money goes. That's where the money comes in. You know, you get a chance to explore.
So in terms of what sports are Bahamas hosting? What events?
They're actually doing the same thing that we are doing. We try to do the Tropical Shootout, which was last year, was the first time where we brought in NAIA schools, which is under the Division III schools. Though this year, we were trying to do the Division I schools, which was big name schools. Bahamas, Puerto Rico, St. Thomas are the only other countries beside us that was doing something of this
on that level.
Yes. Yeah. And I've had the opportunity just to listen in on conversations from the different coaches from these universities who wanted to come here. And they were saying, I mean, this is a major event. You know, they don't understand why we wouldn't want to do something like this. And the chances of we not doing it, I mean, seeing that we're reaching this far, I mean, it could be jeopardizing for us in the future if we want to see sports of that school level come here.
So in terms of, okay, so this was basically that would be like a basketball event that was going to happen with thing. So Bahamas, they're saying doing basketball. Do they do, well, you know, they have like a world class athletics.
Yes, they do. They do just about. What we are trying to do is what they have started already. What Puerto Rico and St. Thomas is doing is what we started. The good thing about us is we have a track and field stadium. St. Thomas doesn't. So we are a step ahead of them in the game. They're just a step ahead of us on the basketball level. But we can take it to different levels. Like I said, we got the yachting industry. We have a track and field stadium. And, you know, we're now supposed to be building a multi-million-dollar stadium in East End. Now, to be critical about that is East End is supposed to be one of our largest populated areas. Why would you build a stadium that only could hold 1,000 people? that's, to me, that's a waste of money.
So you're saying 1,000 is too small, basically?
If you're gonna think sports tourism, you have to think big.
Bigger, okay.
I mean, right here, where we have and this track and field right here, you know, seating capacity is probably a little more than 1,000, but you could see how easy that's filled up with the people alone from here.
Yeah.
And when you want to bring in people now, you're gonna build a stadium for
Needed
1,000.
capacity. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And these are things that we support. You know, these are the leaders who are supposed to take charge and look at, you know, these kind of stuff. And to me, I mean, they're failing me.
Okay. So sports tourism then is something that really, what I'm hearing you say is we need to get a policy for, as far as taking it to that next level, similar to what we're seeing being done in the region.
Yes, we do.
In order to capitalize on, you know, the economic opportunities, basically what I'm hearing that's there. Because even, I don't know if people understand, when you say everybody basically wins on this, because it's the airlines, it's the ferries, it's the grocery store, it's the gas stations, it's the restaurants, because people have to eat.
But the thing is, you know, the fans come, they come because of the sport, but they get a chance to see the island. If they like it, they go back and they spread the word. Word of mouth is one of the fastest ways to send
and they come back too.
That's what I'm saying. So they come back and then they spend a little more time on your island, and then, you know, that's how you generate that income, and that's how you fill your place.
Okay.
I mean, in off season is when we do a lot of these sports, and that's when a lot of countries are doing it, in the slow season.
Okay.
So it keeps the country rolling all the time, so you really don't have a slow season.
Okay. Because it's basically January to December opportunities we're talking about.
Because in December, the U.S. is cold. They still want to train. Countries like Canada and the United States, they got teams that still want to train. We fit our facility as a training facility. That's income coming in. Even though they're not competing, they're still coming in groups, and they're still staying in hotels, they're still training. You know, it's a college or university or a group or whatever. We make it easy for them, and that's what also generates a lot of that income.
Okay. So I'm hearing free marketing through a little bit of capital investment. So while we're building and developing it for ourselves, there's opportunity now to also capitalize on what is done.
Of course.
Well, Karl, I know you got a lot more to share. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues. I'm your host, Shaina Smith, and with me in the boardroom, I have Karl Dub Scatliffe.
That's right.
A sport fanatic is what I'm going to call him. He's both an athlete, a fan, a coach, everything. So we've been tonight talking about sport tourism and the importance of it, I should say, to economic development and the opportunity that is being presented to us in terms of, you know, I think we have so many sports going on here, we just have to pick. And which ones would we develop in that regard? And we talked about the benefits. What would you see as any disadvantages? Because there's always the upside and downside to anything. In terms of, if we were to really build out our sport tourism product, what could be some of the downsides for us?
No, the care of the facilities, the marketing of these facilities would be a disadvantage. I mean, the way our people receive the guests, you know, I know a lot of people, like we were talking earlier, may figure that you're flooding the country with too much people, we can't handle it and stuff like that. I don't think there's no such thing as flooding a country, or, you know, once you designate certain areas and find things for people to do, it's all organization. And once we're organized properly, I don't think there should be a disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we double book ourselves or something to that effect.
I get, I mean, like, you're right. When you go to a room, well, I had this room booked, you know, stuff like that, you know, that could bring, and the facilities themselves has to be upkept. You know, if you're going to promote this, when they come, this is what they want to see.
Yeah.
You know, those are things that I think that we get lost in, because I picked up two folks from Bahamas the other day, and they said they saw the brochure for Prospect Reef, and it was lovely. And when they got to Prospect Reef, they said, this is not the same thing they saw in the brochure. And I mean, I was shocked just to hear that, because I'm saying, why would you be putting something out there when you know it's different? So they moved from Prospect Reef and went to another hotel, you know, and they was giving me the experience. Those are disadvantages that we don't need.
Yeah.
You know, so what you have, sell what you have. Don't oversell, because then you don't want to, like I said.
Some people get here, like you're saying, and they come.
You know your capacity, work with your capacity.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. So what else is going on in the sporting world in BVI?
Well, right now we have I actually started organization which filters through all the different associations and trying to get folks like myself, 40 plus, back in shape and back in competition. Because I think what happens is we tend to fall off the game a little too early in life because you know, different things you get, you know, you grow up, you make a family, so things start to shift and stuff like that. And you forget the main purposes of why, you know, who you were then and who you are now. And I've seen a lot of people at my age I went to school with. When I look at them now, they were athletes. And when I look at them now, they're ailing. You know, they're sick. They're suffering from this and that. And whenever you go to a doctor, the first thing they ask you is, are you exercising? You know, so here's the opportunity to get back into something that you've been doing before that you like, that you were good at, you know, and feel good about it at the same time. You know, a lot of people talk about, yeah, you're going to break up my old bones and all that kind of stuff like that. But I mean, just by sitting around and not doing anything, you're doing harmful to yourself. Yeah. So why not, you know, so we actually started, we started with 5 sports between the next 2 months. Our league runs for 6 weeks. And the 7th week we have our playoffs and championships. And the 8th week we try to bring in a tournament. Okay. Which is, again, sports tourism. There's a lot of other countries in the Caribbean and the U.S. and the mainland that does the same thing that we're doing. I've had opportunity.
Oh, so they have 40 plus leagues.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
I've had opportunity to see that for myself, and that's what really sparked me of trying to get this thing started. And I said to them, if we was to start something like this, would you guys be interested in coming down and playing us? And they was,
sure enough, they said yes.
In the Caribbean, you know, that's on their agenda. I mean, we'd love to, just let us know. So I came back, I organized a group of people, and we sat down and we discussed, and we said, you know what, how can we make this happen? I called up the associations that I was interested in starting with for the first, and I said to the presidents, I said, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it on my own. I want the associations to be a part of it.
Partner, okay.
The thing is, some of them jumped on it real quick, and some of them were hesitant. I even didn't get a response back from some of them. But I said, you know what? I don't really need to have to go through. I did you a favor by, you know, requesting.
It was all a courtesy.
Yeah. And I said, because these folks are not retired. These are folks who, you know, who really just want to come back and enjoy
fun of it. Yeah.
And I think what it does is it brings back the family union. A lot of young folks come back. You're going to get some jokes from it, of course, but then you know, it's that you need, because a lot of our sports are dying right now. I mean, in particular basketball. Basketball is one of the most popular sports on the island. If you go to a basketball league game, you'd be surprised there are skeleton people in there. You know,
in terms of the fan base, yeah.
Sports like cricket, that draws out a lot of mixed people. I mean, I've sent an invitation to the Cricket Association. I haven't had a response. And I'm surprised, because cricket is one of the most popular sports in the Caribbean. Soccer, again, I didn't even get a response, but we got a lot of soccer going on. You hear a lot about soccer. I mean, my aim, like I say, is for the older folks to come out and play, get back in shape. Yes, we may have a donation, but the funds that we're raising is going right back into these different associations. They're helping them to jumpstart their youth programs or their junior programs. If they need assistance to send a team away, a junior team. Because my thing is, you know, promoting the youth games. You know, getting those youths out of the street. You know, giving them opportunity to play sports that they like. I mean, I'm going to go as far as even jumping into boxing, because I realize we have a lot of angry kids. And that might be a way for them to...
outlet for them. Okay.
You know, so I'm tapping into just about all the association I can, so don't think I'm leaving out any of you guys. I mean, I'm coming at you. All I want you to do is just, you know, partner with us. We're not looking for anything out of this. It's not a money-making anything. You know, it's the funding, like I said, is going right back into the community and to help develop the sports.
Okay. So what sports are you looking at?
Right now, we started with netball. Netball has been dormant in the British Virgin Islands for a long time.
I remember last time I probably saw netball game was in high school.
And you were probably what, first form? And you're at school how long now? Yeah. I too share the same sentiments. I remember the days when my aunts and them played netball. I know a lot of folks that played netball, and it was one of the popular Caribbean sports. It has died. The thing that puzzles me is that when you try to revive stuff and you ask your own people to assist, they're the ones that criticize the most. Because I mean, I put it out there from since September. We were, you know, we're talking about the games. I send stuff out, you know, and the people that jumped on it are, like I said, our Caribbean brothers and sisters. And when you try to talk to our locals, I mean, Nobody tell us. No, it seems like you have to go and give them a personal invitation for them to come out, and I think that needs to stop. Because if you see somebody trying to do something, I mean, if you can't help, don't criticize. And most of the only thing that's popular in what I'm doing right now is basketball. We have all the local guys coming back out.
Okay.
So you can see faces that you used to see way back then. Trying to come out. I mean, we actually started it in Virgin Gorda, and I thank West for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, I've heard about those games.
And trust me, that bring out most of the people.
Yeah,
you know,
I've heard
the games only go to about 40 points.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the fun of it, you see guys tumbling on the ground, rolling over, trying to make a shot. Think they're still 16.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the good thing about it. And we're drawing those teams. Once that league is finished, we're drawing those teams over here.
Okay.
Softball is actually part of what we're doing too. They have a league in Seek House Bay that's supposed to be ending soon. Once that's ended, then we're going to draw them into the softball field here. I'm still going to knock on the cricket and soccer's doors again, so we can get them out, you know, because I don't think it's, you know, anything personal. But like I said, I want to see all, you know, all our old folks, not old folks, forgive me.
Older.
The older folks, mature folks. I want to see them active again because, like I said, we're losing a lot of brothers and sisters every day. You know, you hear, you know, people falling on a stroke and stuff like that. You know, I don't want to see that.
That's a key part about this in terms of, with one of the objectives being, you know, to help make us more healthy. Because I think, you know, it is amazing you see persons who you know to be athletes that, you know, they haven't kept up that level of fitness, and it may just be that, you know, giving them an incentive to do that.
I think basically that's what it is, you know. I think it's supposed to be a job for our government, but our government's hands are tied. You know, that's all you hear from them, you know, hands are tied. So if there's somebody or someone or a group of people, you know, that's interested in helping, I think that they should lend the support. And I want to say, thank you to the Premier. You know, I sent letters out to all the ministers. I've had one response, which was the Premier, and I want to thank him for responding. And he gave us a donation. I still haven't heard from any of the other. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, just a simple follow-up letter to say, okay, well, even if you don't have it, at least you were courtesy enough to say, well, you know, try us again the next time. But just don't say anything. And then when you get blasted, you figure, well, you know, we're not supposed to do that. You know, because, for example, the same tournament that you hear right now that's going on with Steve, I can remember way up in May, June, July, somewhere there, he had a meeting with the Premier talking about the same league. And it comes down to the boil on where 7 months later he gets a response saying that we can't help you because we didn't know any information about it. I think that is bad.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, I don't want to say that a lot of people are criticizing Steve, but there are some people who are passionate about sports and wants to see it move, and there's some people who talk sports. The thing is, the people that talk sports are the one that we have in power. The people who are passionate about sports is the one that's out here, so like myself, on the gram trying to get this done and trying to get that done, it's not getting assistance. And I think we need to step back a little bit and try to find out, I mean, why people do what they do. Conversate with them, you know, why you want to do this, why you think we should do this, you know, and understand, because
trying to find that common understanding of
I've had the opportunity, I mean, at a early age to travel for the British Virgin Islands in track and field. I've been all around the world. I've seen a lot of things. I have a lot of ideas, but like again, when you go to the powers that may be and you state your ideas, they don't understand what you're talking about. So, you know, if you don't break it down into syllables for them to understand, they just don't see. So, folks, I'm asking you to come out and support the games. Like I say, it's a lot of fun. A lot of the old folks. We have games. Netball is going to start this Friday. We're going to start at 6:30. Right after the ceremony and stuff, we're going to have games starting. We have netball games. We have basketball games. It runs through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And that's going to be here by the bandstand?
We actually start on our Save the Seed center. So the first game is going to be there until we get the opportunity to use the facility in the town area. Right now, that's overbooked. So whenever we can get a spot, then we'll stick our games in there.
Okay.
But Save the Seed is our home right now for these sports.
Okay. All right, awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Vigilante Dialogues. I'm your host, Shaina Smith, and with me this evening in the boardroom is Mr. Karl Dub Scatliffe, one of the BVI's sports fanatics. Someone was a player, coach,
trainer,
sports show host, and trainer. You know, you name it, anything to do with sports, he's there. So we've been talking tonight about sport tourism, which is essentially an industry where economic development, economic growth, or economic activity comes from persons traveling based on sporting activities. It can be local, it can be regional, it can be international. So it's something that, you know, we've been putting it out there as far as one of those conversations I think that needs to pick up a lot of more momentum, because there are opportunities that we probably have missed or are not aware of to the level I think that we need to be. So it's good tonight that you're here to educate us, as it were, my brother, to give us that inside scoop, because you know you live in it, so you know, and you've been around, and in terms of traveling, and understand what the possibilities are. Because you know, sometimes as a visionary you need to understand this, you know. If you're a visionary, you know, everybody doesn't just jump on board like that, so you have to continue to cast the vision. So I want to encourage you in that regard. But tell us some more in terms of, we had mentioned about the tropical shootout and its affiliation with the NCAA. And the opportunity that still, hopefully we're going to be able to capitalize on. But in terms of the expanse of it, let's get a good degree. And then I was asking too during the break, as far as the, you know, knowing that these things they need, you know, money, funds to make them happen. If it's not something that's available from government, you know, what is the corporate community's response has been to you guys in terms of organizing things?
Now, because of the time of the year of this event, I think when we approached, because the government was one of the first people that we approached, and the corporate companies, when we approached them, they said, well, you know, they have a
budget
for the beginning of the year, and we came a little late.
Yeah.
So that was understandable, but as I was mentioned to you earlier off the set, you know, I did a course in sports tourism, sports marketing, and all that kind of stuff like that. And when you look at how sports like these got to that level, it's through corporate businesses. If you check, for example, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, stuff like that, and you check who are their supporters, you'll be surprised to see some of the companies there. I mean, Anheuser-Busch, after NFL, you see all those
the Budweiser commercials.
There you go. I mean, you have everybody from, how should I put it? Everybody from cable, radio, corporate, even the small businesses. I mean, companies that you wouldn't even imagine are actually pumping monies into this. And we could go as far as even the Caribbean cricket. You could see who are the sponsors on those cricket. These companies starts with people like airline companies, television companies, of course. That's how they got their sponsors. Radio, they were on radio before they got to TV. And they had a lot of small businesses who really wanted to get their name on. What these small businesses did is they would give them a donation for the whole year. So when you hear a team like Los Angeles Lakers, $1 million team could buy any athlete that they want, it's because of who's backing them. And I don't think the sponsors, when it comes to us going out and seeking sponsorship from the locals or the corporate, I don't think we sell a good picture when we go. And that's one of the things that I think needs to be addressed when you come to asking for sponsors. Because you have a company like telecommunications company, Lime or Digicel. When you approach a company like Lime or Digicel, you just don't want to go and beg for money and say, well, you know, we just want you to sponsor. You want them to be a part of what you're doing. You know, promote it as to the fullest of whatever you're doing. If
what's the benefit to them?
Right. If they want to paint the town red, if they want to, you know, they want to come up with the colors or the fonts or whatever the case may be, that's your job. We come in to promote you, but at the same time, you have to do your job as a sponsor to be active and actively involved. And that's why I think they feel that they're not getting value for money when we just go out, and because we're not really giving them value either. We're just begging.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't just want to come out and beg. I want you to be a part of what we're doing, and I just don't want to beg you for now. I want you to be able to give a contribution in the long term. You said, well, you know.
So then there's a relationship
exactly,
there, basically.
Exactly. That's what you need to build when you go to beg for these companies, you know. Like I said, drinking companies, all those different soft drinks, all those different liquors, you know, even the cigarettes and stuff like that, cigarette companies and stuff, because in Europe, that's all they do. You know, they smoke wherever they go. So these companies are still generating to these sports. You know, opportunities like national television opportunities, you know, for something like what we do in the Tropical Shootout, once this tournament has reached certain status by attracting some of the more bigger NCAA Division I schools, you know, the networks will be interested in buying out the whole league, the whole thing. So it's no longer the corporate, no, the government would have to be pumping monies into it. They'll be taking on that responsibility. All we'll be doing is organizing and reaping the benefits from it, where the country reap the benefits and wherever. And these are opportunities that we need to look into, because then when you have a company like ESPN, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, when they're coming into your country, they may start with basketball, but see another opportunity in yachting, might see it in track and field, might even see it in tennis and say, well, wait, this is a destination we could blow up.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the, I mean, to start something like what we're doing, Shaina, or what Steve is doing, may run about $100,000.
Okay.
What we're going to get out of it? No, that's left to be seen, because once it's marketed properly, we get a lot more than $100,000 out of it.
Yeah, and then it's long term.
Right, we have an arena up there, so if the basketball arena, I think the last check that we had could hold almost 3,000 people. And one team alone can bring 10,000 people. A team like Notre Dame, when they traveled and went to Europe, 10,000 of their fans followed them.
And
I mean, we don't have rooms for those amount of people. Yeah. I mean, the only rooms that I could see that we have made me feel up is the yachts that we have. You know, but we need to start thinking long term when we going into ventures like these. Yes, we may need hotels. We're gonna need better facilities.
But all of that's part of, once you get it started and the money starts coming,
there you
you're
go.
able to develop.
There you go. It's not rocket science. You know, you don't have to jump into it one time.
Yeah.
As we grow, you see the need for something, you add it on. You know, I like the idea of Maria building a facility. The teams were supposed to be staying in Maria's. They were staying at Treasure Isles. They gave us discounted rates for these teams to stay. And that was so good of them. And they were actually working alongside us in order to get stuff like this done. You know, those are initiatives and incentives that you really need in order to promote, you know, activity in this time of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a cold season. People want to come out.
Yeah.
They want to enjoy. We got 60 islands.
Yep.
86-degree
weather.
Oh, year round. Yeah. Live stream marketing opportunities, again, where you have, you know, all the
different
streams
media houses,
coming on board, because they want to see, they want to hear it. You know, these are opportunities that's right there. You know, I mean, we've sold packages to these schools, and just by word of mouth and what we've sent to them is what gravitated them. We had bookings already for next year.
Oh, really?
And we haven't even finished this year yet because of, you know, what was said and what was heard, you know, and to give up on opportunities like these. I mean, in order for this to happen right now, we need about $40,000.
Okay.
Which would be part of the airline ticket prices to get the teams here. You have to pay for the teams, pay hotel, pay airfare, hotel, food,
and transportation,
and all that. That's like I say. I mean, I give you a statistic again. I mean, when Bahamas started it, and then they're 3 years into it right now. They clock their projection in the next year is $100 million. When they started the first year, they were like $3-point-something million. The second year, they're $12-point-something million. That's how fast it jumps.
Wow.
You know, and they're not even talking about 50 million. They're going straight to 100 million because they realize it's already grown. And all these opportunities that I've just said to you, they're already in it. You know, the TV stations, and even to St. Thomas or neighbors.
Yeah.
ESPN, Fox Sports has already bought them out. So all they do is organize it, and then you just don't bring the men, you bring the women with it. So now, this month, they're starting with the Women's League.
Okay.
So that's going on this month.
So this is a basketball tournament that's happening in St. Thomas?
The same tournament that we're trying to do, it's already started in St. Thomas. So, you know, it's just a branch off. St. Thomas is easy to get to because of U.S. Now, because we're in the British waters, it's different.
Yeah, so it's international destination.
There you go. So, and these schools have monies that they need to spend, and this is the way that they do it.
Okay.
Now, I mean, we went as far as showing you that we're already on the calendar of events for the year.
Yeah, I was just gonna actually to kind of back up a little bit in terms of the scope, so that people understand that this is something that isn't just an event that's local, but it is something that is on an international calendar in terms of an event for people to make plans to attend.
Of course. I mean, if you go into 213, 214, college basketball, early season tournaments and events, blogging. You can see the British Virgin Islands BVI Tropical Shootout is already labeled in there. I mean,
so it's listed.
That's international. So people look forward to it. I mean, you got stuff like Lumberjack E-Tech Classic, you got Cable Car Classic, you got UFC Holiday Classic. These are stuff that's already on the calendar. USD Tournament, HBCU Tip-Off Championships. All of these are different states and the U.S. and different countries where you can expect to go to these things.
Okay.
And we are already listed, and you can log on right now and see that stuff.
So how would you get on a calendar like that?
I mean, all of this has to be done way in advance. Last year kind of jump-started us when we started with the small teams. That word spread. You know, people understood, well, hey, you know, this is an opportunity for us to travel. It's an international, so they don't have to go to places like Europe and those places, a place like the Caribbean. I mean, and it's close for our Caribbean neighbors, because what we were trying to do is attract teams that has Caribbean affiliations.
Okay.
The teams that were coming here, we have a Norville Carey, which is, we call him Banana. He's a local guy. We're playing for Southern Miss. I mean, other teams, we have people like from Antigua, you know, St. Kitts, who have the opportunity to play college ball. I mean, and once we market in those countries, then
they will travel over
because
to
it's
support
right
their
there.
hometown.
It's right there. So those are the opportunities that we were talking about when we were talking about sports tourism. You know, and like I said, you asked how we got on this season. These are Division I schools, and I just showed you the affiliation they have with movie stars, even the president. Once things like these start to hit the airwaves, and they do their marketing, and we're responsible for doing our marketing. These schools, listening to the conversation, they were actually raffling tickets. They have people already booked to come to the British Virgin Islands. This tournament is supposed to be the 21st and 22nd. These people were booked from the 18th. So which means they were willing to spend some time, you know, climatize, get to see the place, and then when the tournament starts, they follow the
a couple of days in advance.
You know, so that's what you're talking about. And then to hear the coaches ask a question like, if this doesn't happen, what do we do for those people who are already booked? That's how,
you don't even want to think about that. It's gonna happen.
I mean, that's tough.
We're gonna claim it. It's gonna happen.
and in the name of the Lord.
Because we got a lot of people that's looking at it, listening to you talk about this, and as you're talking about it, you know, I can see all the gears and everything that had to have been going now for over a year.
And you think I'm passionate? I mean, this is the brainchild of Steve Patland. Good Steve Patland, bad Steve Patland. When it comes to basketball, this dude has more connections than cable and wireless. You know what I'm saying? Because
he's been out there.
He's one of the first of our kind to play international basketball. You know, he played semi-pro basketball league. And he represented it from his school days straight to his All-American and stuff like that. You know, he carried his game well. I mean, everybody has their way, but don't look at the man who's bringing the message. Look at the message. That's how the preacher said.
Don't watch the message. Just look at the message.
and that's how I take of it. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. When I met Steve and he sat down with me the first time, and he said, "What do you think we could do for the youths of this community?" I said, "What you like to do?" You know, he said, "You know what I do? Basketball is my thing." And I'm proud to say, we have had the opportunity of sending at least 21 kids to school. Now, all we did was open a door for them to go to school.
Make that
opportunity. Once they get there, now they have to do the same thing that he did or I did. They gotta make their name. You know, so it's not for us to say that, you know, we give you opportunity and we still spoon feeding you. You gotta stand on your own 2 feet. And I think that's the mishap that a lot of people are saying, oh, we get the kids into school and then when you look, they come back home and stuff like that. No, when you go there, you have to do what you have to do.
You have to do the work,
We had the opportunity of following them for the first time and videotaping, you know, and doing a biography of them. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize. Because in my day, it wasn't like that. These kids are, I mean, some of them, the places that they go, new to them. It's a new environment, so they have to get adjusted.
Acclimatized,
Right, they have to get adjusted. So yes, you know, you're home close to folks, mom, dad, giving you everything you got, but now you have to stand on your own 2 feet. There's going to be a little change here. But don't let that distract you.
And that's good for their personal growth.
You know what you're there for, you know, and all you got to do is make it shine when you go.
Do the work.
That's it. You do the work. When I got my opportunity, I went to California. I went to a place called Compton Community College. And if you ever heard of Compton, Compton is,
Yeah.
oh man, if you know Easy E and Ice
Boys
Cube,
in the hood. Mm.
trust me, and it was a learning experience for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the days of the Crips and Bloods. I couldn't even go to school with certain colors on.
Wow.
But I made it too.
Mm.
That school never made it to a state championship in over 30 years until I got there.
Wow.
And I placed medals in their hand. And that propelled me to different opportunities. I had universities knocking on my doors, you know, wanting to know where this guy from the Caribbean come from. And what I did is I made a pathway for other Caribbean kids to come up. Because when I left, we had folks from St. Kitts, we had folks from Grenada, we had, you know, so
they started recruiting out of the Caribbean.
Of course, because they realized that there was one school called TAF. Their whole team was Caribbean, and they won every event. And the NCAA said, that's not going to happen again. You cannot have a team of all Caribbean people. Yeah. So you just have to make use of the opportunity that you get, you know. And I started late in the game.
Yeah.
These are young kids right now. I mean, you see them on the block. They're getting in trouble. They're getting into, you know,
but
fights,
they got talent.
killing.
Yeah, they got talent.
All we need to do is find that talent base and develop it and give them that opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of parents would love to get rid of the kids because they're still in the houses.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be doing. And I think we mentioned earlier again, too, behind the scenes about our sports policy. I would love to see that come to fruition, and I don't understand what's going on with it. But we need to organize properly. Our Youth Affairs and Sports Division needs a lot of assistance. Our government needs to understand if we're going to go anywhere in sports, you need to put people in place who knows and who has a passion for what they do, not just talk. And I think that's the problem that we do. We put people in places to fail. You know, if sports is my life, I mean, if I had the opportunity to do sports as a you know,
full-time something,
trust me, you'd get everything out of me.
Yeah.
But I have to find other avenues to make money because, you know, the people that the powers that be are not serious about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's something where we're still viewing it as a hobby. And it's like how we opened up, we talk about it being an industry, and $1 billion industry at that. So it's just the same emphasis and the same priority that we give to financial services. I mean, we're talking about diversifying our economy. And you know, these are the type of opportunities I think, you know, we try to get across as far as we gotta really be paying attention because sports aren't gonna go away anytime soon. Financial services, not too sure. You know, anything could happen, but things like sports, we're gonna be playing sports till whenever.
Because I mean, I hear our government talking about making fishing another pillar, agriculture another pillar,
and that's another sport too.
And again, that could bring in a lot of money. You know, but it depends on what direction you're going with it.
Yeah, and the policy is needed, like you're saying, to chart that direction. To do it.
I mean, the things are out there. There's people who, you know, has a passion for these things who can guide you in the right direction. You don't need to bring in anybody to be a consultant to tell us what we know already.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, until you, the people who are in power or who's leading.
Who's making the decisions.
Yeah, I mean, until you go out and you sweat and work with those kids day in and day out and listen to the parents in your ear telling you this and telling you that. You don't understand what's going on out there. You're just sitting on the top because you have a degree saying that, okay, you can lead. But until you get into the ground and your hands feel the earth, you know, that's when you understand what sports is all about. I thank Mr. Ray O'Neill for giving me the opportunity.
Okay.
Because, I mean, like I said, I started late in the game. When I went to school, I was the oldest guy on my team. I was so old that they gave me a key for the bus and said, whenever we go on a road trips, you have to drive, you know? But I don't want to see that happen to those other kids.
Yeah,
you know?
Catch them early. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And like I said, this tournament that we're talking about, if we lose it, from what I've heard, we will never, ever get that opportunity to bring another NCAA basketball tournament here. That's what these guys are saying. These guys are influential because some of the coaches for these teams are like presidents in the commission of NCAA, and that's why they jumped on the opportunity so easy.
Yeah.
Because they have the say.
Yeah.
And, you know, they connect with the people and they say, well, hey, we're going to take this. And like I said, to listen to the words that they're saying.
Yeah.
And they're asking, I'm like, Steve.
Yeah, we can't let it go. Yeah.
No, this one is major. I mean, you see him out there so begging.
Yeah.
And don't understand why he's begging. I mean, I'm here to set the record straight. We see the potential in this. We've seen where it's been, you know, how fast it's grown. And if we're, like I keep telling our government, we have a board, tourism board, and there's nothing with sports in there. There's somebody representing boating, yachting, every other thing except sports. And we have, like I said, we were able to send away a lot of kids. It's not easy, to do. It's no money involved. We have the Chantels, the Taishas. They're already out there. There are marketing tools. Use them. You know, give them a paraphernalia. Let them, you know, send them out to the schools and stuff like that. This is not any rocket scientist stuff, and I've been saying this a long time. We have a lot of folks that go to school every year. What do we give them to go with?
Yeah, to promote the country.
What do we do? You know, we send them out there on academic scholarship, we send them on athletic scholarships, but what do we give them to say, well, hey, you know, while you're out there, so drop off this here, drop off this there, wear a shirt said British Virgin Islands, wear a jacket, give them all these stuff, you know, I mean, what are we doing? This is easy.
Free marketing.
And we pay a lot of money for this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
passionate about it.
Yeah, I told you, he's a fanatic.
I'm passionate about it, man. It hurts me just to see.
Because you see all these opportunities and potential.
And I mean, the country gives me the opportunity to travel.
Yeah.
And when I travel, I'm looking for opportunities where I can see that we groom, and we move just like every other country. So when I come back with all these information and all these ideas and all these thoughts that you gave me the opportunity to go to do, and you just make me put on a shelf.
Yeah, you're not able to execute.
Man, it's going crazy.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Karl, it's been awesome having you here. We're already out of time. But if anyone wants to get in contact with you, whether it's about the 40-plus league that's going to be going on or about the BVI Tropical Shootout, because, you know, any which way, shape, or form, I'm sure everybody can help you out. You guys will welcome it. Give them some contact information.
541-7541.
Okay.
It's easy. 541-7541.
Okay.
You can call me anytime.
All right.
Because, like I said, this is not just us. This is all of us. You know, so I appreciate your opportunity to give me. And I mean, I haven't been interviewed a lot, so
I know you're used to being on the other side of the desk.
Yeah, so it's a hot seat right now.
Yeah, that's all right. You get used to it.
That's right.
But it's been great having you here. And I do this for all my guests. And we want to see if your answer is any different to others. But our tag question is always, what's your favorite thing about the Virgin Islands?
Food.
Food? Yeah, you're your own on that one.
Food.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Listen, every team that I saw came to the Virgin Islands. Once we served them food, they always talk about it. And everybody that I see come to the Virgin Islands to stay end up going back fat. So I'll leave you with that.
All right. So it's the food. All right. I'll add that one to the list. Well, again, thank you for being here with us and sharing all this information, because I know a lot of times we barely scratch the surface when we hear certain topics come up. But it's good, I think, to have had the conversation and to hope that it continues in other forums, and, you know, everybody comes around the table in terms of sitting down and making some serious decisions about what we want to do with economic development and growth as a country.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity, and, you know, anytime.
Anytime.
That's
All
it.
right. Thank you. I want to thank our sponsors, National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Therapy Works BVI, and Smith & Associates for sponsoring us. You can watch us online at www.cbnbvi.com, and we air here on Thursdays on Channel 51 CBN TV, and also replayed on Sundays at 6 p.m. If you would like to be a guest or a sponsor of our program, you can call us here at the studio, 494-7815. I am your host, Shaina Smith, saying let's continue the change in conversation for a better quality of life. Good evening.